Hey, welcome or welcome back to another video nobody asked for. I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be doing the second installment of therapy sessions with my camera. Now, since the first installment, I actually have started going to therapy. Yay me. But I still want to do this because I kind of think this is fun. It's cute, it's whatever. I just want to share my feelings about certain topics that affect me on an everyday basis. So today's topic of therapy sessions with my camera is, drumroll please, acceptance. Specifically, self-acceptance. Throughout my life, I have had such a very hard time accepting myself for various reasons, and I feel like in recent years it's definitely played a role in how I interact with other people. One prime example of this is that whenever I meet a new group of people and I'm just feeling things out, just trying to get the vibe, trying to figure out how to act around these people, you know, once I get comfortable, I'll start letting my guard down, you know, maybe take a few bricks down from the wall I've put up, start to show them a side of me that I don't really show to people as often, especially not when I'm first getting to know people. You know, my goofy side. I start to show my goofy side. I start to act a little weird, I start to act a little silly. When I do that, I try to gauge the situation. I try to see, is this a safe enough environment for me to be myself? I find that in environments where I feel safe and comfortable and welcome, I'm able to freely be the best version of myself, be the goofiest version of myself. And if I'm never goofy, if I'm never silly, if I'm never acting up around you, it's because I'm not 100% comfortable in that environment. So sometimes, you know, I'll just like dip my toe in the water, you know, just like feel things out, just like maybe do something a little slightly goofy just to see how it'll be taken. And if it's taken in a positive way, I'm like, yay, cool, we can keep going. But if it's taken in a negative way, then reverse, retreat, retract, go back in that shell, put a few more bricks on that wall, because I automatically feel like I'm not being accepted. For example, maybe I make a weird sound around people. Sometimes I make weird sounds. You know, if I make a really weird sound and people are like, ew, what was that? See, Sarah, this is why we can't take you anywhere. You're so weird. You have to act up. Like, oh no. I'm gonna retreat. I'm gonna revert. These are not my people. This is not my tribe. I don't feel comfortable. Reverse. Reverse. This isn't the environment that I can act this way in. There's definitely been plenty of times where I thought I found my tribe, I thought I found my people, I thought I found people that I really vibe with, and then, you know, I start to get a little too comfortable and I start acting up, and it's not received very well. And I guess this is a coping mechanism I have. I feel like I have to conform. I feel like if people deem me as weird, then they don't accept me, and if they don't accept me, that's not a good thing. So, you know, it's like, dang it, Sarah, you had to be weird, you had to do this thing that's totally against social norms, and now they don't accept you. Now we have to start at square one. You have to be normal, you have to be like everyone else. I know it sounds really crazy when I say it like that. It's like, Sarah, that's so weird, just be yourself. Like, who cares what other people think? Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done. Like, honestly, I really don't like when people are like, oh, don't give it ever what people say. That's not an easy thing for me to do. As someone who's had such a hard time feeling accepted ever since I was so little, ever since I was maybe 4 years old, for someone who just wants to desperately be accepted by people, it's very hard to simply exist. Just freely exist. I feel like if I exist a little too freely, people are not going to like me, they're not going to accept me, they're going to be like, that's that weird girl, Sarah, like, she's not the type of person we want to have around. And I know a lot of people would be like, oh, well, screw them, find people who will accept you, da 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 da. And, you know, sometimes you just want to be, so outside of me deciding whether or not I can be goofy around people, another way that I have a hard time being myself is when it comes to conflict. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble with conflict. Conflict is never fun. Nobody likes conflict. I'm not gonna act like I'm this perfect angel that I always go about conflict the right way, because I absolutely don't. I still have a lot of work to do. There have been times where I've been totally in the wrong when it came to conflict, and I've gone about conflict in the complete incorrect way. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm so perfect and I'm an angel and all I ever do is tell people how they hurt me and they always attack me. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just saying there have been instances with people I've even considered friends that I'll say, hey, you know that thing that you did, that hurt my feelings, and I met with attack. I'm attacked immediately. I'm sworn at. I'm called names. People suddenly get an attitude with me. It's very traumatizing, if I'm being completely honest. It makes me feel like I'm not allowed to express negative feelings towards you without you feeling like I'm attacking you. It's very hard for me. You know, one prime example of this was my senior year of college. I was doing the show. There was this rule that in the dressing room, if you want to listen to music, you know, use headphones, you know, be considerate of the people around you. And there was these people who were blasting this music, and it was really bothering me. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm already an overthinker, so like having this unwanted noise in the background of the noise that's already in my head was a lot, and it wasn't helping my process. And I was just like, hey, you know, could you guys just like turn it down? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, like it's whatever, like it's not that big of a deal. Their words, not mine. There was this specific girl who came at me and said, well, Sarah, maybe you just don't like the music. Maybe you just don't like the music because all of the rest of us, we're all fine. Maybe you just don't like the music. Hey, you know, not all of us necessarily want to hear that. She's like, well, maybe it's just you, Sarah. Maybe it's just you. You know, she really came at me very pointedly, and I was just like, oh wow. I was very taken aback by that, and I was just like, just really came out of left field, and I was like, whoa. That situation put a target on my back. I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, people started talking about me behind my back after this situation. Like, I heard people whispering, like, oh yeah, I don't know what's wrong with her, da da da. It started making me feel really uncomfortable because I didn't come at anyone sideways. I didn't call anybody out of their name. I wasn't rude to anybody. I didn't have an attitude when I said it. I was just like, hey, let's be considerate. A few days later, this same girl, the girl who came for me, the one who said, maybe it's just you, she was playing music out loud, not wearing headphones, you know, again, what I considered not to be being very considerate of the other people in the dressing room because it was a shared space. And I will admit I could have gone about this a better way. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm innocent and I'm perfect and I'm a victim. Like, I'm not trying to victimize myself by any means. But I went up to her and I said, you know, don't you think your music would sound better in headphones? And I literally said it just like that. No attitude, no tone, none of that. And she literally went off on me to the point where I literally started crying and apologizing. And I was like, I feel like everybody hates me. This is why I don't feel comfortable in the dressing room around you guys. It was a very traumatizing situation for me, if I'm being completely honest, because I didn't think I did anything wrong. Like I said, I could have gone about it a better way. I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just saying it would be great if we could be considerate, you know? Situations like that definitely have made conflict an even harder thing. Because conflict was already something that was super hard for me before, but situations like that made it even harder. Because after that, I did not feel comfortable around those girls because literally, like, I'm breaking down, crying, this girl's going off on me. Another girl, one of the other girls who was playing music really loudly, she was laughing at me. Like, I was having a breakdown right in front of them, telling them, you know, I don't even feel comfortable around you guys because of this whole situation. And one of the girls was literally laughing at me. It made me feel even more uncomfortable to the point where, like, they just gave me my own dressing room because every time I was around those girls, my heart would literally start beating like crazy. Like, it literally made me anxious to be around these girls. It was so hard. Like, I literally had a scene with the girl who was like, it's just you. My heart would be beating so hard until the scene was over. It was really scary for me. The whole situation was really juvenile, I'm not gonna lie. I literally like was scared of her, and that the one who laughed at me, like, I was scared of her too. situations like that one, and situations I've had with people after that, situations I've had with people before that, have definitely made it very hard for me to navigate conflict. I think what it kind of boils down to is how I think I'm saying things and how other people think I'm saying things, because I honestly think that a lot of things when it comes to conflict with me, it's just lost in translation, you know, because I think I'm saying one thing and the people on the receiving end think I'm saying a whole nother thing, and it causes friction and it makes things very hard. So hard for me. So I'm just like, I don't know what's happening here. There was this one time where I told someone that something that I did hurt my feelings, and I immediately was met with swearing, and I'm like, okay, if you have an issue with me, we can talk about that, but I thought I had the floor. Okay, navigating conflict definitely makes it hard for me to be myself, because if I have a problem with somebody, I'm more likely to hold it in than to tell them, because I'm just so afraid of being attacked yet again. Another example, I have a really good friend of mine. She's literally one of the sweetest people you will ever meet in your entire life, and there's this thing she did that bothered me, and instead of just telling her when it bothered me, I just kept it inside for months and months and months and months and months until I finally just decided to be honest. And the reason why I kept it to myself, despite knowing that she's not the kind of person to explode on somebody. She's not the type of person to be like, well, how dare you have this problem with me, and how dare you say I hurt your feelings, and how dare you, and swear. But because of my past experience dealing with conflict with certain people, I automatically assumed that she would react the same way. And when I told her, she didn't. She was completely receptive, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Even when I was telling her, I downplayed it. I invalidated my own feelings when I was telling her. I was like, you know, it's minuscule, it's not that big of a deal, like, I'm being a big baby. And she was like, don't invalidate your own feelings. You're allowed to feel the way you feel. And that was so comforting, and I really needed that. But it was really refreshing to have someone take a step back and say, oh wow, I didn't realize I did that, I'm so sorry. You know, another thing that makes it hard for me to accept me for me is bluntness. When I get comfortable enough with you, I'm a lot more willing to be blunt. Granted, I'm not always going to be blunt about certain things, so I'm like, For me, it's just hard for me to figure out the line between me just being honest without sugarcoating things and me being a jerk. Finding that happy medium has been difficult, because there are times where I've said things where I just feel like they're just very matter-of-fact things, and people will be like, wow, Sarah, you're being really shady right now. I'm like, huh? Like, I didn't think I was being shady. I thought I was just stating a fact. It happened to me a lot in my latter years of college. I guess one, delivery, something I gotta work on. And then also just, I guess, spending more time thinking before I speak. Spending more time really understanding the words I'm going to say and thinking about whether or not they're necessary to say, unnecessary to say, and all that good jazz. Making sure that I'm clear and concise with what I say. Also, remembering that I can't control how people react to what I say. I really can't, because I could say things in what I would consider the nicest way possible, and someone else can be totally offended by that. Whereas with other people, I could say something very out of pocket and someone will brush it off like it's nothing because they don't care. Things like that don't bother them. There's definitely a lot of things I gotta work on. You know, knowing your audience, tone, relevance, whether or not I need to say it. All in all, that's the mess that is me. That's why I have trouble accepting me for me, because I don't know how to interact with other people, essentially. And this is not saying that I feel like nobody accepts me, because I have people that accept me, I have people that love me. I'm not saying that. It's just, I'm saying in certain situations, especially in recent years, navigating the people circuit has been hard. So if you didn't hate this video, you could like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will see you next time.
S to the A to the R to the A. Yeah, my name's Sarah and my last name's Slay. When I come over, yeah, he begging me to stay. But this ain't Burger King, he can't have it